the live long day, all the live long day. I'll be moving along, singing my song, running around, ain't nothing wrong. All the live long day. I said, you can't catch me.
Girls, sorry, back to the office today.
I'm nobody's baby, so all the live long day. You can't catch me, no. You can't let me go. I'm nobody's baby, so all the live long day. All the live long day, all the live long day. I'll be moving along, singing my song, running around, ain't nothing wrong. All the live long day. I said all the live long day. All the live long day, all the live long day. I'll be moving along, singing my song, running around, ain't nothing wrong. All the live long day. I said all the live long day.
Hi everybody, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the Verve 2030 launch party. Apologies that we're running a few minutes late. After weeks and weeks of preparation, literally 10 minutes before we came live, we lost our YouTube channel, so that was fun. Proves that it's live, has given most of us a bit of a heart attack, but hopefully all working fine and it will be smooth from here on out. And you know, if nothing else, there's always fizz. This is something a little bit different for us, I think different in financial services. It's a brand new thing, it's a new concept that we came up with. It's been a lot of fun to pull together and I really hope the next hour is a lot of fun for you guys too. First things first, so on the joining screen there should have been something to tell you about going onto the slido.com website. Hopefully you've already had a chance to do that. If you can, we're just going to do a little test now and throughout the next hour we'll be doing some questions on it. So hopefully, if technology improves, considering what we've gone through in the last 15 minutes, hopefully a question should be appearing on your Slido right now. Now anybody who's watched mine and yours or listened to mine and yours Mint podcast will know that this is a question that we ask our guests. It's, you know, a bit of an existential one, and that is, do Transformers require life insurance or car insurance? So if you think about it, you'll realise it's really not that straightforward. So if you've got your Slido up, give it a go, pop an answer in. I'll be keeping an eye on the results and hopefully that'll test and make sure that Slido is working for us. Other than that, you don't actually need anything else. Those of you who were registered before about Wednesday last week, you will hopefully have received a little bottle of fizz in the post. So, you know, if you've already been keen, we know it's a lovely sunny day. If you've already drank it, that's absolutely fine. Nobody's judging you. But if you can keep hold of the bottle, you'll probably have noticed that there's a little sticker on it and we'll come back to that later. There's a huge number of people on here. There was a huge number registered and we posted out the link more broadly this morning so that it could go to people even if they weren't registered beforehand. So just a massive thank you. What we'd really love is for you to interact with this. It's not kind of just us talking at you. So hence the stickers on your Prosecco bottle, hence the Slido. But also if you can join in, so you can either put comments on the YouTube channel, although I believe that you need to register to do that. So alternatively on the Slido there is the option between there's a Q&A and also a live chat. So as we're going through, anything that gives you, you know, you've raised questions, any ideas, any feedback that you've got, please share it. We'll be picking that back up a little bit later on, looking at some of the Slido results and hopefully answering some of your questions. So if I have a little look, yep, so far so the answer's 80% car insurance, 20% life insurance. We tend to get people start to challenge it and say, you know, it depends, is it third party, fire and theft, is it comprehensive? There is quite a lot of discussion around it, but yeah, car insurance and Slido works, so brilliant. So before we get into the whole thing, we'll be talking around all the different businesses and giving you an insight on what we've built. But ahead of that, here's just a little bit of a reminder about Verve Group and who we are. The Verve Group incorporates Parasols, Apricity, compliance and the Art of Finance, our training academy. It's very fresh, it's very modern.
Part of the Verve vision as a whole is about driving the industry, changing the industry. even though it's fun and it's relaxed and things, it's driven as well. It's kind of like it's ambitious.
I feel like we have a knack within the Verve Group to see something in other people.
I'd like to think that other financial services firms can see that hiring graduates, that training internally, that challenging things and doing things a little bit different can and does work, and then hopefully that will encourage them to do it, and then they'll keep evolving their businesses as well, and that as a collective approach will push financial services forward. Right, so hopefully you've already read about or heard about our Project 2030. So this was the project that we kicked off right at the beginning of the current crisis, when we had the realisation that the world wasn't going to look the same after everything has gone on. We were looking at our business, our clients, the whole of financial services, and we kind of thought, what would it have looked like in 10 years' time? We think that 10 years' time is going to happen now. The pace and the innovation and the developments that need to happen were just accelerated massively. So yeah, we've basically built 10 years worth of development in 10 weeks, which to be fair has been pretty intense. There's a reason that we've sent fizz out to everybody. We've consumed a lot of it ourselves. It was just a good opportunity, and I'm sure many people have done this in their own businesses as well, to just make the most of the fact that the world had pretty much stopped. I'm sure we've all thought it many times, just wish things would pause so I can clear out my garage, or empty out my wardrobe, or make these changes in my business, those files that I've needed sorting, this wording that needed updating, all of this stuff that just gets pushed to one side because you're busy doing the day-to-day job. So a mixture of knowing that, or believing that the world is going to look very differently when we come out of it, and making the most of the opportunity that we had of the world actually pausing, led to our Project 2030. So that's what we're going to launch today. It's some of the things that we're going to talk to you about. I would also say that we're actually not done. Anybody who knows me knows I'm never done, and there is just a huge amount more that we do want to build. But we just thought it'd be nice to show you what we've built so far, the services that are now available, and I guess make a little toast to everything that's gone on, to the next phase for us, for our groups of businesses, and schools are starting to go back today, hopefully for you and your businesses and your world. So the girls will talk through each of the businesses and what developments we've got across all of those. But first, let's have a little look at some of the things that are going to be different in Verve.
So, what's new at Verve? We'll be back in our offices in some way very soon, but we'll also be embracing this new flexible way of working, giving our team the choice to work in whatever way is best for them. We'll be embracing technology like never before, not just in Apricity, but across the whole of the Verve Group. Exciting developments coming up on that, so watch this space. Our conference and awards are on hold unfortunately, but as soon as we know a bit more about what can be done and when, they'll be getting the 2030 sparkle applied to them too. Our suitability white paper is just as relevant, and our events will recommence at the end of this year, ready for the review taking place early next year. New world, same dedication to innovation, and wine drinking, of course.
So the Verve Group has a very clear mission, and this is split into two parts. One is to help existing financial planning firms to grow and to thrive, and we provide the support services to help that. And then the other one is focused on the future of financial services, and in particular kind of shouting out outside of the current bubble of finance and getting more people interested in it, either as a career or actually to get them to feel a bit more confident going and seeing an advisor and getting advice maybe for the first time. So you'll probably be aware of some, if not all, of the brands within the Verve Group, and what we've done with those brands is carve them out into these two missions. On the one hand, we've got supporting financial advice firms, so that's Parasols, Apricity, and within the Art of Finance, we've got the ability to support existing employees in financial advice with their training and their qualifications. And then on the second mission, and supporting the future of finance, we've got a big push on the Art of Finance to start looking outside and to attract brand new people into a career in finance. We've got That Mint podcast, which I host with Jo Campbell, which is just very much trying to make finance a bit interesting to people who might not have previously been aware of it. And I've had great feedback even from the woman in the local coffee shop around that. So we're starting to hit it with what we wanted to achieve with that. And then we've got the grad scheme. So that's been our internal way of bringing new people into financial services and to train them up. carving these brands out across the two main missions, it should just really help us clearly define our message and to hopefully get some growth and to push that forward much quicker and to really start to get some traction in achieving these. I think now more than ever, the industry is really going to start contracting, especially after the impact of coronavirus. And we're just going to be absolutely desperate for new entrants to come in. We've been aware for a long time of the shortage of people in financial services, and hopefully if Verve Group keeps driving towards these key missions, then we'll go some way to start to bridge that gap and to really help make it a very bright, very exciting industry, profession in the future. So, if you haven't already, then feel free to give that fizz a pop and join us in a little toast. We're going to talk you through each of the businesses, some of the exciting stuff that we've already built in recent months and some of the stuff that's coming up in the very near future. So cheers. Cheers. So firstly, let's head over to Jo Campbell. She heads up Parasols and she'll talk through some of the things that we've been developing there. And as a hint, it's a lot.
Thanks, Kathy. It really is a lot, so strap in. For those of you that don't know, Parasols stands for Paraplanning Solutions, meaning solutions is literally our middle name, well, literally our last name. It's not an umbrella on the beach, although, you know, I wish it was right now. When COVID came along, it did give us the gift of time, and we kind of took that as an opportunity to look at some of the problems that we know are around in the financial services industry as well as in advisory services. We've always, for 11 years done paraplanning and always wanted to do more. I think for at least the last 6 or 7 years, we've tried to build out our services into something much more robust so we could be a one-stop shop for advisors to help them with everything they could do, leaving it free for them to do what they do best, which is give advice. I know Kathy did a little test question on Slido earlier. I'd like to ask a real question, me being the serious of the two of us, obviously. And what are the biggest concerns, the biggest gaps, the biggest problems that you see in your advisory business? There's a few on there, such as your paraplanning support, your admin, compliance, lots of things on there. Is it training? Have a look, answer the questions. We'll try and come back to it later. I do think all of these are really important. Finding the time to build out the service so we can offer all of those things to you was the problem that we had. We're trying to keep to our service levels and we wanted to give our current clients the best service possible, but also very aware that we're only giving them part of the journey and we wanted to be able to help with more of that. I'm obviously a little bit nervous, not that used to live TV, so I've created a video that explains it all a little bit better and I'll show that to you now.
Introducing our brand new support services, where we can provide you with your own dedicated support team. Here's your hub: Executive Assistant, Technical Paraplanner, Associate Paraplanner, Handful of Paraplanners, Administrator, and you. That's right, you get your own Executive Assistant to manage your diary, book your appointments, liaise with your clients, and manage your workflow. You get administrators who can update your back office system, send out and chase all of your paperwork, liaise with your paraplanners, clients, providers, and everyone else, pull together review packs, and create newsletters and send out client gifts and Christmas cards. You also get paraplanners who can attend your virtual meetings, complete your reports using our current process or our brand new interactive reports, complete cash flow research and complex planning strategies for you, defined benefit analysis, and be a sounding board for unique scenarios and be on hand for technical queries, leaving you to give the advice. We will store all of this on our brand new client portal, which allows you to securely store documents, communicate with your team, your clients, and have a full audit trail. Obtain electronic signatures, speeding up your processes. Provide your clients with an app which can show all of their holdings, and prompt your client if you need something from them. A unique selling point for your client and at no extra cost to you. One of the biggest issues advisors have come to us with lately are the dreaded ASRs. We've had a lot of practice at them, so we feel we've really nailed the process. A lot of the work is in the administration side of it, gaining the information, especially when it's off platform, and pulling it together. As part of our new annual review service, we will do all of this for you and more. We'll manage the diaries, create the review pack, book in the meetings or create reminders for postal reviews, facilitate meetings where being held online, undertake valuation and information gathering, and create annual suitability reports. You literally give us your client details the month they're due to be serviced, and we do the rest. You asked, we gave. We've been asked many times about what we can do to enhance the administration services we provide. Introducing our Client Love service. This can be a standalone service for those needing more administration assistance. It can include, amongst other things, full financial administrative services, pre-meeting administrative documents, back office management, risk profile and fact find updating, regular valuations, client relations services. That is just an overview of some of the services we can offer you. For more information, get in touch. We'd love to help.
Your own executive assistant. Wow, like to get me one of those, Kathy, if you're listening. I know particularly the ASR service is already really popular. We ran some of these services past a focus group and some existing clients to see what they think about it and to provide feedback before we rolled it out to the world. And the ASR service particularly is absolutely flying. Everybody really, really likes that. So, you know, if you want more information, get in touch. I did want to delve into some of the areas a little bit further. I know there'll be a lot of questions. I've already had some questions from the focus group. So there's another video coming up, which will talk a little bit more about the client portal. Roll VT. COVID literally shut down the world, and the finance industry, which was so heavily reliant upon face-to-face meetings and client interaction, was completely shaken. There were so many repercussions. We saw this problem. We tried to meet it with a solution. So along with the client portal, which you've just watched, which allows for client interaction, non-contact and e-signatures, we looked to provide further solutions and thought, what does that mean for the future being now? So we looked for another solution that might reduce travel time, reduce expenses, be more convenient for you, and is actually more compliant and less work. I know you don't trust me, but have a look at the next video that explains a little bit more about our virtual paraplanning service.
So in the past, you've seen your client, filled in a fact find, obtained information, and off the back of that, formulated a plan and a recommendation. You've then given this to your paraplanner, either in-house or outsourced, and they've done the necessary research, pulled together a report and all the supporting documents. And then you've popped back out to visit the client again and get them signed up. Afterwards, you would go and see the client, maybe once or twice a year, to do servicing and any updates. Your paraplanner probably helped pull together a review pack and an annual suitability report. And then, lockdown happened. And your ability to physically see your clients is taken away overnight, with no idea of when it will restart or how it will look when it does. And so, it's time to look to technology and see how the service to your clients can be delivered online. While this brings challenges, it also brings opportunity. Because if you need to meet with your client virtually, then there's nothing stopping your paraplanner joining you at that meeting. Imagine this world. An online meeting with your client and your dedicated paraplanner is arranged. Your paraplanner sets up the actual meeting, including full logon details for you and your client. 15 minutes before it starts, you and your paraplanner meet up virtually and chat through the agenda and what you'll be discussing. You conduct your meeting as normal, with your paraplanner taking full meeting notes and being on hand for any technical queries. You may even have had your paraplanner create some cash flow forecasts before the meeting, which they can then virtually update and work through in real time with you and the client. When the client leaves the meeting, you and the paraplanner have a quick debrief. And that's it. You can now turn your attention to the next task on your list. Meanwhile, your paraplanner will create full meeting notes and arrange for any file gaps to be filled. If there's some action being recommended, they will start the research and report process, slotting it into the usual Parasols turnaround times. You can rest assured that the full process is being managed and you can focus on your clients, where your skills are best used. The process is the same for an annual review, with your paraplanner creating an annual suitability report before the meeting, joining you in it if you wish, and doing any compliance follow-up immediately afterwards. And what about when lockdown is over and you can see your clients again? Well, you continue in the same way, taking your laptop and therefore paraplanner along to your meetings with you. All the benefits of a fully integrated paraplanner, providing technical support and reassurance for both you and your client, with none of the overheads or challenges of a full-time employee. When we say imagine this, you don't need to, because it's here and available right now. We're looking forward to being part of your team.
So lots of innovative and forward-thinking companies are already doing that. They're already seeing their clients over Zoom or WebEx or whichever is your preferred provider. That's absolutely brilliant. Once you've done that and you've impressed your client and you've shown how innovative and how you can use technology to your best advantage, do you then want to go back to ye olden days and send them a huge report made of paper, killing all of the trees? And it just is, now when we think about it, really old-fashioned. One of the things I've wanted to do for so long is completely reinvent our suitability reports, rip up the rule book, which is probably paper, and just start afresh with completely fresh eyes. What can we do? I've never had the time to do it, but now we have. So we've made them shorter, brighter, interactive, online. They're still compliant. They've still got all of the information you want. They're just sexier. Please have a look at this video. Enjoy. So just a couple of things that we're launching this month. There's a reason, that I look that exhausted. It's not COVID. It's been a long time coming, but the future is now, and I am so excited for everything Parasols. But that's it from me. If you've got any more questions or if you would like more information, have a look on the website or just give me a call. But now, back to Kathy with the weather. Kathy? Oh, wrong show, sorry.
Anyway, so as many of you know, Apricity was my next baby to be born after Parasols, and it's always been ahead of its time anyway, with the aim of bringing technology into regulation and with a very ambitious aim right from the outset to really try and change the face of compliance. Project 2030, I think, has just given us the opportunity, again, to really accelerate that and to push it forward. And so Kim Binks, who's director at Apricity, will now tell us more about this. Kim?
Thanks, Kathy. So as many of you know, when Apricity was created, what we wanted to do is create a modern online system to be able to help firms manage their compliance at a touch of a button. So it's easy for firms to be able to manage their teams online, keep up to date with day-to-day compliance tasks, and see where any risks align within the business. So the aim of Project 2030 for Apricity and the software is that actually we want to fast forward the development that we perhaps would have wanted to do in the next 10 years, much sooner. So in order to be able to do this, we have been busy recruiting an in-house development team. And our clients very kindly do send us in suggestions of ways to improve the system. But actually one of the other things that we're launching is a technology focus group. So we'll be asking our clients this week if they'd like to take part in that and actually help us shape the development of the system going forward. So if you've not yet seen the Apricity system, here's a little video to show you some of the key features and some of the things that we've been working on over the past few weeks. So the services at Apricity, we have two key services. That's light and managed. Light service is purely focused around the technology that we've just seen, allowing a firm to be able to manage all of their compliance needs themselves with the tools available within the system. Now we know that compliance can also sometimes be a little bit complicated, which is why we also have the managed service. So clients on the managed service would also get a consultant, a personal consultant who gets to know them and their business. Now the service with managed would be an initial meeting, initial audit, but also quarterly reviews. Now, the reason we created quarterly reviews was to make sure that a firm would get regular touch points, but also a bite-sized to-do list, rather than an annual compliance visit. What we've wanted to do as part of Project 2030 is completely redesign the way that the quarterly reviews are delivered. So we want to make them more engaging, more interactive, and just much easier for clients to follow. I personally believe that clients' compliance and culture should be at the heart of every firm. So if we can just find a better way of delivering those, an easier to understand way of delivering the ongoing compliance requirements, then it should help firms engage with compliance much more regularly and understand what they need to do.
Welcome to your new complete online compliance support solution. When a client joins Apricity, they're given a dedicated consultant and advisor support team, initial and annual audit, and ongoing tailored support. Whilst we've always been able to provide our support remotely, we've wanted to use Project 2030 to find a much more visual and interesting way of providing our ongoing support to clients. Each firm is given their own personal agenda, which we can present to the compliance officer, director, or multiple members of the team. We'll talk you through the latest FCA updates, any upcoming regulatory changes, including full details of exactly how this would affect you personally as a firm and your team, exactly what the FCA are looking to achieve, and exactly what you need to do to meet your regulatory obligations. We can still talk through examples and give you guidance and templates remotely. We'll have a look at your firm's quarterly file check KPIs, looking specifically at examples of good and bad practice. We'll be looking for any process issues that were spotted at a firm level and talking about ways on which we can improve that. Audits are used to highlight any areas of risk that we see in your business. We'll help you with templates, guidance, and even completing some of these for you where we can. There's also time to talk about anything specifically affecting you as a firm. Exactly what you'll need to do, how you can meet your regulatory obligations, and how we can help. You'll be left with personal, quarterly action points, helping you making compliance more manageable.
So another change that we've made is to our events calendar and the way that we are actually delivering our CPD events. So some of you may have previously attended our Talk monthly webinars, which of course have still been going, or perhaps one of our Grow quarterly CPD events or our regular master workshops. So when we went into lockdown, we had to immediately remove the face-to-face events, the Grow CPD and the master workshops. And what we didn't want to do was just immediately turn them into online content with no sort of thought to how we could deliver and really engage with the audiences. So I think we were all probably in agreement that we're quite sick of Zoom now. So the thought of a 4-hour workshop with a presenter just talking at you for 4 hours, we didn't want to do that. So we've taken the time to reimagine actually how we could really engage with you, the audience, and make it a much more interactive, immersive, and I guess a much more enjoyable experience, perhaps when you are doing CPD content and workshops remotely. So we've now got our new events calendar live. You can head over to the Apricity website on the events page to see what we've launched. So the idea behind these new online events is that a delegate would get materials sent out beforehand, very much like this launch party. Can't guarantee that you'll get Prosecco with a supervisor workshop, but it's just a way of you being able to engage with the presenter. There'll be ways of breaking out into virtual study groups with some of your peers, also on the workshops and webinars, and it'll be really interactive and engaging. So there we have it. The new Apricity events calendar is now live on the website. Head over to the events page for further details of all our talk, grow and master events that are now live. And you know that we like to do things differently here at Apricity. So following on from our new focus group, we'll be introducing the first regulatory hackathon, or the ultimate nerd event as I like to call it, which will be happening at the beginning of June. The aim being that we take 1 or 2 key developments from the focus group and aim to crack them within 24 hours. Also on the website, head over for more details. Back to you, Kathy.
Fab, thank you, Kim. I mean, to be honest, if that doesn't get you excited about compliance, then nothing will. So heading now to the Art of Finance, which is the baby of the group. It's only a year old and it's already going through the biggest of changes in such a short space of time. And here's Natalie Bell to tell you all about it. Nat?
Thanks, Kathy. That's absolutely right. The Art of Finance is the baby of the group. We turned 1 just last month, to be precise. So what does it mean in the world of the baby analogy? Well, it means that 12 months in, we have learned a lot about the people around us. And it's also meant that we've started to gain some independence and starting to take our own independent steps forward, which is incredibly exciting. So what's COVID meant for us? Well, much like the girls said earlier, it's given us time. It's given us time to really think, that creative space, to consult with those around us. And it's given us a chance to design a new solution which is fit for purpose in the modern world that we find ourselves in right now. The original Art of Finance courses were built with face-to-face delivery in mind, so classroom settings, which, yes, is incredibly important, but until you find yourself in lockdown, when those classroom sessions aren't available, we realised that we needed to move fast on a new solution because we felt as a profession we didn't have the luxury of time to stand still as far as CPD is concerned. So we took all of that in mind. We thought about what's needed from independent learning, and we've created an online solution. So our courses are currently available on an e-learning platform, which essentially means that learners and candidates can come online and continue their CPD, but at a time and a pace that suits them, which is incredibly important when life is so incredibly hectic right now. So all of the hard graft over the last couple of months has resulted in our new e-learning platform. I've got to say it was always part of the business plan, but they've remained words on paper for far too long. So at least we've got COVID to thank for that, hey. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at that new e-learning platform. So that was the new online learning platform. I hope you agree with us when we say it's impressive. We certainly think so. So with all of that in mind, so we now have the resource, we have an online solution. For those of you who know the Art of Finance and the Art of Finance mission that we created 12 months ago, it was always built with the intention of creating capacity across the whole of financial services and not just within any one particular role. So just because we think sleep is overrated, we've been busy grafting away, creating content for some new courses too. So it's the Art of Paraplanning, the Art of Compliance and the Art of Financial Administration all now are available online, along with some additional few, which we'll see in a couple of seconds. And just to mention before we move into that, as you would expect with any launch, we have been busy looking at our website. So if you take a look at that, you'll see that our courses page now has a directory feature, making it super easy for anybody to search and filter for the courses that are most relevant to them and what they're after. So yeah, let's take a look at the new additional courses part of the family. So that's the new courses. We do have many more up our sleeve as well over the next couple of months. However, if the tech's working right about now, you will be seeing a question where it's your chance to tell us any particular courses that you think that we've missed or that you'd particularly like to see over the coming months. So please do share that with us. So yes, over the next couple of months, what does that look like for us? Well, quite frankly, all of this great stuff that we believe we've been doing over the last couple of months, it's fit for purpose for those outside of financial services too. The other part of our mission at the Art of Finance is very much to promote financial services as a career of choice to those who aren't currently aware of the great stuff that happens within finance. So we'll be doing that. We'll be working with colleges. We're going to be working with universities. Unfortunately, we are in a situation where we do have people who have left school and colleges and universities, thanks to COVID, where they're not going to get the grades necessarily that they thought they've been working to. So always the ones to look for the good in everything. We'll be looking at how actually that's an opportunity for us as a profession to really tap into some really great talent. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums up everything that we've been doing. I would like to just end with a plea, if I can, which is just that we all challenge ourselves and actually how we talk about ourselves and our role within finance. I'm relatively new into financial services, 3.5 years for anybody who doesn't know my background. And there's so many myths and negative connotations around it that I think we can only overcome those if we all shout loud and proud about what a great and secret profession we've got in financial services. So yeah, a new online platform, lots of new courses. That pretty much sums up our lockdown experience. That and lots of TikTok dancing and banana bread eating, which I think can probably be said for lots of others as well. So yeah, that's us. Thanks for listening, and back to you, Kathy.
So I started at the beginning talking a little bit about the Verve Group, the missions that we've got, and hopefully from what the girls have shown you so far, you'll be able to see how we'll hopefully start to really push towards achieving our first mission, supporting financial planners, really helping you guys to grow and to thrive and build your own businesses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the second mission and how we'll actually start to look outside of financial services, attracting more people to the industry, either as a career or actually to come and actually start to feel confident getting financial advice. With the Art of Finance, that'll very much continue to build that public front, and it's got such a beautiful brand about it. I think that's really going to help make people interested in a career in finance in a way that they maybe hadn't been before. And internally, we'll continue that. We'll continue to bring some fresh, shiny new faces into finance through the grad scheme. We unfortunately had to obviously pause our April cohort. We normally do them in April and October, but fingers crossed, the way everything's going, we'll be able to do the October one. We'll give it the 2030 makeover. It'll look a little bit different, a little bit sexier, but still very much with that aim of bringing some more talent into the Verve Group, and that in turn will help us to deliver some of these exciting new things that we've got for you. And in addition is that Mint podcast. So we recently hit over 5,000 downloads, which it's amazing, if not scary, to think about some of the nonsense that Joe and I witter on about while mildly drunk. But it seems to be working. It's really starting to get a bit of attraction. We collaborated with Pete Matthew of Meaningful Money, and he said himself that, there just can't be enough of us working together to collectively really get that voice out there and to really start to push financial services to, the rest of the world, really. So we'll do some more of those collaborations. We'll start to do more of them that are not with financial services brands and podcasts. We'll be looking outside and really starting to push the boundaries of just where we can get financial services and, the kind of the numbers of people that we can really get interested in it. So speaking of numbers, here's a little video to show some of the numbers that we've been working on. Right, so yeah, that was a little bit exciting. Hopefully you can see exactly why we've been as busy as we have been for the last 10 weeks. I've been keeping an eye on the Slido, I've been keeping an eye on, actually there's comments everywhere, there's Twitter, there's Slido, there's YouTube. I don't know how newsreaders do it, it's quite intense. The first question that has come up is 10 years worth of innovation in 10 weeks. On a scale of 1 to 10, girls, how tired are you right now?
Oh, I'm not sure I'm even awake now.
To be honest,
It's the same dream I've had for the last week. So.
10 million.
So yeah, one of the questions that came up, Joe, on the Parasols section, you asked what the main challenges were that advisors were seeing. And there was a multi-choice, and actually it was very, very evenly split between paraplanning and technology. I think what we've done so far shows just how many solutions we've got to paraplanning. What do you think are the main issues around technology that advisors are facing?
I think that some of the problems with the technology is that they're all great systems and they've all got great features, but they're all standalone systems. There's not much where they can kind of bring it all together. They're quite disparate. So I think having a back office system or some sort of portal or any kind of tech that kind of speaks to each other is the biggest problem. And I don't think there's anything out there in the market yet, but Verve 2040.
Right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
In a few weeks.
There was also a few questions that came up through this, and actually we've been trialling the interactive suitability reports. They've had a huge amount of interest. We've put them on social media and we trialled them with some existing clients. And one of the questions that has come up today, that's come up quite a lot, is around the how well you can retain that information, because clearly that needs to be in a format that the clients can access in future. I don't know if you want to talk just really briefly about that.
Yeah, and it's something that one of the first considerations that we had. Obviously the regulations are quite strong on that. So we did check with, funnily enough, Apricity compliance. It was handy, and we went through a lot of systems, a lot of processes, and we have found a way to make sure that they'll be always available and always compliant. We can either use your existing systems or the one that we found ourselves. But for more information, just give me a call on it.
Fab, thank you. Nat, so you did 2 polls on the Art of Finance. The second one asks for suggestions on new courses, and that's just so helpful for us. We've already got a whole bunch more planned for August, and cash flows come up quite a lot there, so that's certainly something we'll be looking at. The first question was asking what the key issues are around training, and the 2 that seem to have come up most frequently was making something engaging for people, not really wordy or death by PowerPoint, and also finding the time. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about how the new Art of Finance stuff might address that.
It's almost like we did some consultation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, I know personally, in terms of that kind of personal development, it's always about finding time, and there's a number of people who are on the courses at the minute who actually very much are holding their hands up and saying that they have concentrated on upskilling others in the team, that actually their own CPD often gets neglected. So yes, it was timely. The reason we brought it online was because of COVID. We weren't allowed to be in the classroom. But actually, we live busy lives regardless of COVID. As a mum of a young little one with an active social life half the time, it was important for us actually that we did create something that meant that they could learn at their own time and own pace. So if they've got a spare hour when the kids are in bed, then great, they can
what better to do than read about pensions?
Exactly. Absolutely.
That's how I spend my evenings.
Me too. She's joking.
So I did mention at the beginning that it's not the end, far from it. We've done a huge amount in 2 and a bit months, but clearly the sheer volume of stuff that we'd like to do, the ideas that we've got, it's kind of the tip of the iceberg. So somebody did ask if there's any hints around any of the future stuff that we're going to do. I don't know, without giving too much away, Kim, do you want to kind of hint at any of the things that we've talked about with Apricity, or do you want to keep it all super secret?
Oh, I don't know how much can I say. I think a big thing for us will be the tech development that we mentioned. So please, clients, get involved with the focus group. I think that will be the main focus for us, certainly over the coming months.
And I mean, there's other questions coming in and I just can't multitask that well, and it's been a very intense hour. So instead, I'm going to do is say thank you for questions, and anything that we have missed, there'll be loads of follow-up from today, and we'll make sure that we pick up on that. In the meantime, there is a little competition. So the philosophy around this was, originally we were thinking we don't want it to be just another Zoom, we don't want it to be just a webinar that you sit and watch. It was very much around an immersive experience, and that's something that we are going to replicate in Apricity in the way that we do our events. And clearly, if you're sat there now with either your Prosecco bottle with a sticker on it, or the email for those who did still register but just missed the cut-off for the fizz delivery, then this is the element where you can be very much involved. So we're going to pull 5 numbers out of the poll that Kim's got. If your number comes out, if you can take a photo, a little selfie of yourself with your bottle with the number on it, pop it on Twitter, use the hashtag Project2030, and then basically keep an eye on the mail for the next couple of days, because something special will be coming to you. So Kim, do you want to go first and pull a number?
Right, who's up first? Number 39. I don't know if you'll be able to see that all the way over there. Number 39. Over to you.
It's exciting. I hope there's loads of people raking around their recycling bin right now.
I can hear it.
I know. 25.
Ooh.
Definitely thought you were going to spill your
I
fizz
know,
there.
I know, really trying.
The art of
really
multitasking
trying.
new
The
course.
art of multitasking, absolutely. No, I need 2 hands. 1 hand. Number 8. Again, probably can't see right from over here. Number 8.
The 4th number is 104. And Kim, do you want to pick number 5?
It's tens,
Okay.
isn't it? Number 5.
Right, last but very not least, number 13.
Oh, we're looking for some.
So if you can, take a picture, pop it on Twitter, use the hashtag, we'll keep an eye on it. And I guess there's nothing else to say. I mean, firstly, phew. I feel like I'm breathing. Just a massive thank you. So thank you to my team. They have been unbelievable for the last 2.5 months. They've worked so hard. I'm sure you can appreciate just how much effort has gone into building all of these new things. I couldn't be prouder of them. And same with these three. You know, I can't even explain the early mornings, the late nights, the weekends. They haven't switched off for weeks and weeks. So thank you to you girls. And a massive thank you to everybody for joining us. You know, we know it's kind of sunny outside and you might be missing out on it. Apart from Gary Hale, who I did see on Twitter, has a lovely setup in the garden with the fizz and the sunshine. But for those who have missed the sun, to stay inside and watch us, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all your interactivity, and we'll be in touch soon. So enjoy the rest of your week, and bye from all of us.
Bye.
Bye.
All the live long day, all the live long day. I'll be moving along, singing my song, running around, ain't nothing wrong. All the live long day. I said all the live long day. Baby got her shoes on, she wants to move. Looking for trouble, honey, is it you? Feel the world under her feet, all the cracks up in the concrete. Take a step back, she's coming through. All the live long day, all the live long day. I'll be moving along, singing my song, running around, ain't nothing wrong. All the live long day. I said all the live long day. Oh, you can't catch me, no. Oh, you can't let me go. I'm nobody's baby, so a live long day. Oh, you can't catch me, no. Oh, you can't let me go. I'm nobody's baby, so a live long day. All the live long day, all the live long day. I'll be moving along, singing my song, running around, ain't nothing wrong. All the live long day. I said all the live long day.